Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the winter webinar series hosted by Dr. MPS Group of Institutions. I, Kakul Kaur. Today, in this webinar, we are focusing on e-waste management. Joining our webinar, I would like to express my gratitude towards our Honorable Chairperson, Sir, Squadron Leader A.K. Singh, Sir. Due to some of his prior engagement, Sir is not with us. Maybe he will join in few minutes to the series. Moving forward, I would like to welcome our director, sir, Dr. A.K. Goyal, sir. Sir is having a very rich experience of more than 30 years in the academics. Sir is the greatest source of motivation for all of us. Moving ahead to the next, I would like to welcome the head of the Department of Management, Ms. Jyoti Bhadoria, madam. She is having more than 8 years of teaching experience in Department of Management, and she published many international papers with international journals. Moving ahead, I would like to introduce my members of department. I also have Mr. Ankur Jain, sir, our financial expert. In a row, we have Ms. Shweta Sharma, madam, our marketing expert. I welcome you, madam. Next, we have Ms. Pooja Panjwani, madam, our international business expert. I welcome you, madam. Pooja, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm profoundly delighted to introduce our guest speaker of the day, Mr. Venkatesha Murthy, sir, from Singapore. Sir is a global icon holding strong and academical backgrounds, an extensive industrial experience and exposure in the international market. He has a robust qualification armed with triple master degrees in MSc, MTech and MBA. More than 2 decades of his tenure, he is involved in the emerging global e-waste practices of e-waste management. Best available technologies, policies pertain to e-waste of many nations. He is a pioneer in the innovation of cost-effective recycling and strategic metal processes. Mr. Murthy has designed and installed the first integrated e-waste recycling facility in Singapore. Likewise, in many other nations like Malaysia, Taiwan, China, South Africa, and many more. Sir has been elected as a board of director of SERI R2 USA due to his technical expertise and insight in e-waste management. Sir, it is truly our honor to have you with us in this panel. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Kagul ma'am, Honorable CP sir is joining.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Venkatesh, sir, we will get.
Yeah. Should I start or should we wait for
No,
your
sir.
chairman?
Not now, sir. I'll let you know, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's a great introduction. And I'm very happy to be part of this seminar or workshop, which you all having with a rich academia background people. So I hope that I could share some of my experience in the e-waste industry and as well as especially on the global best practices in the e-waste management. And I would be more happy also to take many questions in case if the participants interested to know more about the e-waste. So without much delay, let me
Sir,
just try to
uh,
share.
excuse me,
Yeah.
sir. Venkatesh, sir, we have few people in line. I will let you know when you can share your slides and everything. In between, I would just stop you here so I can welcome our honorable chairperson, sir, squadron leader A.K. Singh, sir. He joined us. Sir needs no introduction and no words will be able to do justice to his persona. But still, we are so thankful to you, sir, for just accepting our invitation and sparing your valuable time for us. Thank you for coming us. I welcome you, sir.
To be a part of this seminar. Today I'm having some guests with me, So I'll be only listening the views of the panelists and definitely enjoy and learn something from the seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Thank you,
coming,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. We also have Miss Tanu Sharma, madam, another panel expert. She is currently working with Friedberg Filtration Technology Private Limited. She is a global learning and training specialist. She is having more than 7 years of industrial exposure. She has been a speaker of many seminars and webinars in the series. I welcome you, madam.
Thank you, Kakulam. Thank you for the introduction.
You're welcome, ma'am. And I would like to welcome all our viewers who are watching us live. So before we start our webinar, let us understand what is e-waste actually is. E-waste describes discarded electronic devices such as discarded computers, headphones, your mobile phones, chargers, refrigerators, air conditioners, and many more. We just use them, and after using and done with the products, we didn't find the place where to throw it, and it will come up with a tons of e-waste every single year. In this scenario, the management of this e-waste becomes a huge concern. A lack of effective disposal and recycle mechanism, these toxic substances are harming us and our environment. So, how can we take in all this? How can we come up with the possible solutions to effectively manage this? And how can we enhance the process of this recyclation? So, where we go through with this thing. So, now I would like to request our respected director, sir, Dr. A.K. Goyal, sir, to kindly address the panel and audience members. Over
Thank
to
you,
you,
ma'am.
sir.
Thank you, Kabul, ma'am. Thank you very much. We feel blessed to have Mr. Venkateshwar and other guest speaker. Good afternoon to one and all present in the webinar. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all the guests, faculty members, and all the participants present in the webinar. On behalf of the Dr. MPS Group of Institution, first of all, I would like to welcome our Honorable Chairperson, Sir, Squadron Leader A.K. Singh ji, and Co-Chairperson, Ma'am, Mrs. Neelam Singh ji, though they are not present at present time, but our Honorable Chairperson, Sir, is on the screen. Our Chairperson, Sir, has always been a source of inspiration for us. The College of Business Studies has a strong vision to share the knowledge in the latest development related to the field of management and allied subjects. Our main mission lies to bring awareness among the people to save the environment. Today's webinar topic is very important and it is a burning challenge not only for India but now it is a global problem. When our luxurious electronic equipments like LCDs, TVs, mobile phones, and other small devices become useless for us, we throw it without thinking its further after effects, which may result into a source of pollution and illness for someone else. E-waste management is also as much as important as we manage the biomedical waste with utmost care and precautions. E-waste is a rich source of metals such as gold, silver, and copper, which can be recovered and recycled and can be reused also. Thousands of people around the world are engaged for the e-waste management and are generating the economic potential in it. E-waste management can provide income generating opportunities for both the individuals and the entrepreneurs. Like all other viewers, I am also keen to looking forward and to listen our today's guest speakers and experts with the hope that today's webinar will become a key reference for future to understand such burning problems. All the best. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful words. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to invite our guest speaker, Mr. Venkatesha Murthy, sir. As you are working in this field more than a decade, so enlighten us, sir, with your vast knowledge and experience, and just give us some insight, more insight about this topic clearly. Over to you, sir. Venkatesha,
Thank
sir.
thank you. Thank you. Let me just try to share my slide. 1 second. Are you able to see my slides or no?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. How about
Now can,
now?
sir. Yes, sir. Now can.
Great. Thank you once again. Thanks for great introduction. Is it okay or
So we can't
slide
see the slides now. Now can, sir.
now? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Okay, thank you once again for the introduction. Let me try to justify what best I can do with the given time and opportunity. And thanks to the Institute for this selecting this great topic. And it's not per se of academic interest. I think it is everyone's responsibility to look into that because we are part of electronic electrical products in our day-to-day life. So we the morning starts with electronic products, the day ends with electronic products, be it a home, office, aeroplanes, cars, anywhere. It's all answered by the electronic electrical products. It has given so much of comfort to us, but I think it's a time for us to look what is the impact of the e-waste if we don't recycle in environmental friendly way. Are you all able to see the slide or is there any distortion on that?
So we are able to see the slides. It's okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Thank you. Yeah. First of all, always I used to say this statement like it is not a waste. Unfortunately, the definition is being called as a waste. It's nothing but a great resource. As long as we all use any electronic electrical products, be it refrigerators or air conditioners or mobile phone or laptops or desktop computers or whatever we use, every pinch or the part of these electronic products are usable resources. The moment software is not working, the moment we want to change to the better model, better style, we call it as a waste. So it is not a waste. It's nothing but a great resource. The only thing is we need the right technology to recycle and recover back the resources. And also it has to be environmental friendly way. So it is an important that every one of us has to think. It's not few stakeholders' responsibility now. There's no point of blaming only authorities or only manufacturers or only bulk consumers. I think it's everyone is part, everyone is connected, everyone is enjoying, which never been the case of history of humankind. So much of comfort from the electronic electrical products. So the point here is that take, make, use, and throw is not sustainable. It's not part of the circular economy. And I always also say that our growing global economy, the key fundamentals today is based on energy, electronics, and environment. So it is an important that the electronic electrical products is nothing but a world of chemistry and nothing but is a growing economy. So today topic, of course, I'm very open for the discussions later. I just try to highlight what is the global statistics, how much electronic scraps is being generated, and in specific to the Asia as well as India, which is an important continent which we are addressing today. And the resources and scarcity of some of the resources which we are facing the challenges in the growing economy, and what are the major issues around the e-waste recycling, understanding the electronic waste, and what are the legal framework is required and enforcement to make it successful, And what is circularity? Because we talk about decarbonization, greenhouse gases, global warming, and so on. So circular economy, circularity, and sustainability, and what you and me can do in order to understand as well as to contribute to this planet, because we have only one planet left over, and since last 20 years we can see there's so much of problems to this planet. So I'm not able to get this full slide. Is there anything you could able to control? Yeah, perfect now. Yeah. So, we have seen a great revolutions like agriculture revolution, industrial revolution. What we are facing is that IT revolution. Be it a global warming, glacier ice melts, climate change problems, ozone layer, man making the holes in the ozone layer because of the CFCs, HFCs, and so on, and greenhouse gas effects, rising sea levels, plasticizing the ocean, and what not. Man created a lot of problems to this planet. Since we created the problem, I think we have a responsibility to contribute back and fix these problems. Globally, we generate about 57.4 million metric tons of electronic waste as on year 2021. 57.4 million metric tons. It's a huge volume. And if you look back, only 9.4 million metric tons, which was in just 6 to 7 years back. Unfortunately, only 17% is being recycled in environmental friendly way. Balance about 82 to 83% is not being recycled in a proper technology or environmental friendly way. It's being either dumped or traded or recycled in a very traditional or so-called in the hands of informal sectors. So the
Thank you,
key
sir.
point is that how much value is behind these electronic waste. If you're talking about 54, 55 million metric tons is equal to about $70 billion worth. $70 billion worth. Again, out of which 25 million metric tons is being produced in Asia itself, which is equal to about $30 billion. Once again, I don't go in detail about all these numbers, which are very much available. The key point is that, the e-waste growth is happening in a very alarming rate, not even like general waste. So, in terms of the value or in terms of the volume, it's almost 3 to 5 times more than the general waste today. And most important, we need to look in at two areas. One is the value, the other one is the toxics. So, again, the Asia is a spot or the red spot or the red dot go green kind of things in Asia Pacific. Why? Because of the huge consumer market, and the key indicators for these electronics are growing in an alarming rate is because the technology is changing very fast and the legal frameworks are not powerful, even though there are legal framework in Asia Pacific. But I would say, as compared to Europe, some other countries like Japan, Taiwan, or some other countries, the enforcement is not there. So why we can see only 13 to 14% being recycled in the formal sectors, whereas 85% and more is in the hands of so-called invisible sectors. And again, the awareness. We don't know what is the impact of the e-waste in the informal sectors. It could be their bread and butter, but unfortunately, their life is under threat, and also resource, the planet is under threat if it goes to the wrong hand. They do component harvesting, they go for open burning, they use certain chemicals to leach certain metals like gold, copper, and so on, whatever they could see. And worst case is they go for landfill, and also country like in India or certain developing countries in Southeast Asia, many children less than the age of 12, 13 years are involved. Almost 15% of child labors in the e-waste sectors, which is almost equal to 10 million people involved in the e-waste industry. So again, I don't go. I mean, you just look around your office, you can see all these things, printers, air conditioners, refrigerators, and all. What I'm trying to say here, the point is that, every electrical products are made up of basically plastics, good plastics. Most of them are a good plastics. Some maybe cannot be recyclable plastics, and also valuable metals like precious metals, non-ferrous metals, as well as the ferrous metals. So the key point to note: every electrical products are made up of metals and plastics, maybe a little bit of glass and rubber. Likewise, what we are holding, like mobile phones, the laptops, the desktop computers, or the monitors, and so on. So the key challenge what we have is how we can able to secure or protect these resources. 80% of the electronic scraps contains the gold, which is the value of the electronic scraps decided by the gold, because the gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and also the platinum group metals, some of the platinum like a rhodium. These are the key performance metals widely used in the electronic products. As you could remember, 20-25 years back, in fact, let me tell you, when I came to Singapore in 1998, we used to walk around with the little pager made by the Motorola and followed by the Motorola StarTech phone. But today you can see that, billions of phones are in the market, where we could hardly see a pager about 20 years back. So this IT revolution has taken the entire global market. Not even any other industries like aircraft industries and all. Out of 500 Fortune companies, the mobile phone like Apple and all comes on the top. That's the kind of addict, or that's the kind of the electronic products are giving comforts to the humankind. So, in terms of scarcity, we are exploiting more resources today from the planet. If we continue to exploit like this, maybe another 40 years we run out of gold. We consume about 4,000 tons of gold every year. In fact, India consumes more than 1,000 tons of gold, highest consumer, 1,100 tons maximum per year out of 4,000 tons. So, and then silver, we consume about 27,000 metric tons per annum. If we continue to use the silver, we may run out of silver in another 63 years. Likewise, copper, 28 years. That's all. I think copper consumption is also increasing drastically, is also because of the infrastructures and also air conditioners and so on. So we need to pay attention how to get back these resources. That today the biggest challenges, if you look all these electrical products, the chemistry is the same. Whether the laptop is made by the ABC company, whether it's a Lenovo or the Dell or HP, or few companies makes the laptops globally. So it's the same chemistry irrespective of which brand or which country is made up of. Only few manufacturers are making all the triple E products globally. So if the chemistry is the same, the impact should be the same, because the same planet and same living creatures, the impact also should be the same. Say example, if it is a mercury poisoning or lead poisoning or arsenic poisoning or any acid or greenhouse gases, we are all sharing the same planet, so impact should be the same. And the value also is the same irrespective of the currency and the country, because all these metals and the plastics, the value is based on the international pricing. Say for example, LME price or LBME price, London Metal Exchange price. So but if you carefully look into that, there is so much of confusions. you know Rich countries are dumping the uh, toxic waste into the developing nations, and rich countries are taking care of the value extraction by engaging the developing poor countries, and so on. It's all because we do not have a strong legal framework and enforcement across the electronic waste. So there are a lot of confusions why the people who are in the poor countries are get impacted or get affected with the various health issues, be it a kidney problems, be it a lungs issues, reproductive systems, and so on. All these are because of the problems of legal framework and very poor enforcement. So you can see that this picture speaks many things. I don't go in detail about this, but this is all the facts what we are seeing, especially some part of India, which is some part of Delhi, in Chennai, in Bangalore, in Mumbai, and so on. So you just imagine lakhs of people involved in these sectors and look at their health problems. We are only worried about other health issues, but these toxics are reducing the health. 10, 20 years of their lifespan will be reduced if they expose to all these toxic metals like lead, arsenic, mercury, particulate matters, and so on. It's all being proven. Again, I don't go detail about this. There are a lot of reports, newspapers published all this, how polluted certain cities in India, like in Delhi. Likewise, earlier it was China, Philippines, Indonesia, and so on. So these are all is a proven records, especially if you talk about the lead. Look at lead is about 80.1 microgram as against to just 25 as per the WHO limit, and mercury is still worst, 9.15 ppm parts per million as against to zero point 0.1. How many thousands times of mercury levels high in the atmosphere as compared to the WHO level? So again, we are actually holding the time bomb in our body. We're actually using the electronic products for our comfort, but moment it becomes a e-waste, again we are holding the time bomb inside our body. So we always look outside engineering. We never look inside engineering. I think we are destroying our inside engineering. We are also destroying our beautiful planet by exploiting more and more resources in the name of our comfortness, in the name of making more and more electronic products. So this we need to understand. So the key success for recycling, let me share with you. When we started the first company in Singapore, for the past almost 12 to 13 years, in the first 1998 to 2012, I have recovered about 12.5 tons of gold only from the electronic scraps. Probably you may not believe, some of the best mines, gold mines in India, could not be able to recover so much of gold, because our best mines in India may have only 4 to 6 grams per ton. But in the electronic scraps, let me tell you, if you take any scraps which has got minimum 30 to 50 grams of gold, and maximum it may runs with the kgs. We used to recover the gold from the flexibles, which used to have about 3 to 5% of the gold, or 3 to 5 kgs of gold out of 100 kgs of scrap. So we have recovered about 12.5 tons of gold only from the electronic scraps. Again, about 6.5 tons of platinum, equivalent amount of palladium, and copper is about 10 to 20%, about 30,000 tons of copper, and about 25 tons of silver in the span of about 12 to 14 years only from the electronic scraps. So you can imagine electronic waste is not a waste, nothing but is a gold mine, or we call it as a urban mine. So what I'm trying to share here is that technology is a key or pivotal in terms of extracting the resources. You need to have a right technology, environmental friendly technology, not the traditional technology like a burning or using the pyrometallurgy, open burning, open leaching. So you are wasting a lot of resources. Like example in India, it's not that e-waste is being thrown on the roads. It's being collected by the various actors. Could be mostly in invisible actors or informal sectors. But what they do, they just could recover back only certain, uh, you know, apparent gold or apparent copper. They could not see what is inside, or they may not have the technology to extract all the metals. Any electronic products you take, it's not a just one or two element. It's a combination of hundreds different kinds of components and alloys. So there are a lot of precious metals, platinum group metals, various types of plastics, non-ferrous metals, ferrous metals, and also nowadays, especially when we go for more advanced super computers and super performance, we have a strategic metals, which is nothing but the rare earth metals. So technology plays very important role, which I personally experienced in the hydrometallurgy, which we feel that more portable, efficient, and could able to be good for the small lot to the big lots, unlike the pyrometallurgy where investment is huge and you need a bigger lot size and you are burning most of the non-metallics. Whereas in case of hydrometallurgy, you don't need to waste anything. Even plastics can also be recovered back. We could able to go up to 98 to 99% recovery rates in terms of hydrometallurgy. So these are some of the plants which we set up in our journey. So whatever yellow you see, which is nothing but the gold, plated gold, gold bars, and the silver beads and platinum powder and so on. So the key success again, it's not just a technology. You need to comply with all the standards, be it in national standards and or international standards. I think I sits on the international board, which is a SIRI, USA, Sustainable Electronic Recycling International. We make the policy for the electronics waste management, e-waste management, which is a R2 responsible recycling certification. So pollution control equipments are equally important to make sure we don't pollute by engaging the new processes, make sure the process is efficient, make sure it is in closed systems so that we could able to neutralize all the pollutants and keep this planet safe for our next generation. So as a knowledge partner, what we are trying to do is to bridge the gap among all the stakeholders. So today, basically, key stakeholders are one is manufacturers or generators or both together. People manufacture the computers, mobile phones, and all. Then the dealers or retailers sell that one. The bulk consumers use it, like example, bulk consumers like public sectors, Infosys, Wipro, all these big, they use a lot of computers and that. So what we need to do is that as a knowledge partner, we need to bridge the gap among all the stakeholders. Be it an awareness, they don't know what is the value, they don't know what is the impact, they don't know what they could be able to contribute. So awareness is an important step. We need to engage, especially whenever I take webinars, engineering colleges, and all, I encourage mostly the colleges students to take up this as an entrepreneurship, because there are hundreds of recyclers required in India. 3.23 million tons of e-waste is being generated in India alone, which is the third largest in the world. Unfortunately, we do not have a single integrated recycling plant in India as on date. Unlike Singapore, we have about 4 to 5 integrated plant, having only 60 lakhs in the population in Singapore, and we generate only 100,000 tons of e-waste in Singapore, as against to 3.23 million tons in India. Unfortunately, we don't have, and is equivalent to about 5 to 6 billion worth of e-waste is there. Just imagine, only 10% is being recycled. Only 10% of the $5 billion is being coming to our so-called economy. The rest we don't know. It's being wasted. It's being exported. Our resources being exported to some other rich countries. So awareness and technology. Of course, we cannot buy expensive technologies. We need to develop the technologies where academia like you all can play a pivotal role in establishing or innovating the technology based in the context of India. And informal sectors, they are the key players. Of course, it is their bread and butter. I think we need to transform them. Now it's a time informal sector has to be transformed into the formal recycling sectors by educating, by training them, by equipping them necessary protective gears, and also ensuring them their bread and butter. So we need to transform them. And of course, India as a logistic is a big challenge. We need a reverse logistic system. We need to have a proper traceability, accountability, and be part of the policy, legal framework, and enforcement. And finally, we need to be part of the circular economy. Nothing as a waste. It should has to come back to the supply chain. So again, Singapore scenario, Madam, do you have time or
So you can take another 10-15 minutes.
great? Thank you. Okay. As I mentioned, Singapore, we our population is about 59 lakhs, probably less than Delhi or Bangalore city. So we are a country, the city. We generate about 113,000 tons, and is about 20 per kg. Sorry, 20 kg per capita, as against to India is about 3 to 4 kg right now per capita generation. And of course, awareness is very high. It's a small country, and there are a lot of regulatory framework and enforcement is there. So we have about 20 plus recyclers, out of which 7 is integrated recycling facilities. So again, the policies are very important to make this journey successful. Reduce, reuse, recycle, treatment facilities, and all. So of course, again, it's a fine country. To keep it fine, a lot of fines we need to pay. Be it a littering or anything you take in Singapore. I think everything restrictions are prevails. So that's how the country is fine. But I think government have a strong justification because of the small country and the limited land and so on. So why we need to be circular? As I mentioned in the first slide, take, make, use, and throw is not sustainable. There is no reason for us to take it as a waste. It can be recycled, it can be recovered, and it can be put back to supply chain. That is where European came out with a very good concept of circular economy. Everything can be recycled and put back to supply chain. So if we look at the closed loop value recovery, in the context of India, once you generate as a waste, you need to engage the right transportation. Once you segregate or consolidate the waste, analyze it, what is toxic, what is not toxic, valuables, and then go for the right process. If it can be reusable, you can repair and reuse it so that you can extend the lifespan of the electronic products. Not necessary every electronic product should go for recycling. If can be reused, it's the best, so that we can extend the life, and so much resources can be saved from our mother earth. So end of the day, recovery and refining, and finally put back all the resources into supply chain. That's how the circular economy concept. So what we can do, the best thing is to reduce the amount of electrical products manufacturers by redesigning. Reducing the quantity of e-waste can be, I mean, the e-waste generation can be reduced by reusing, by recycling. And if you reduce the quantum of e-waste, naturally we are reducing the greenhouse gases and the carbon footprint, which is, we are extending the life expectancy of this planet for our next generation. Right now, there's a lot of international situations going on the global warming, climate change, greenhouse gas problems, toxicity of these metals, and so on. So as a e-waste, suppose it is inevitable for us to go away because we don't have forests now. I mean, after this IT revolution, we have exploited a lot of planet resources, so we cannot go back now, unfortunately. We have adapted so well our lifestyle to these electrical products. I think we should think, if necessary we buy, if not necessary, let's not go for more than a necessary of the mobile phone or other electronic products. So if it is possible to repair, we have to repair it. I think these are the concept why I'm trying to share. I think educational institutions are the best platforms where if you can able to impart these concepts to the young minds, they could potentially be the ambassadors. And if you can bring some of the subjects teaching about these environment at home, like indoor pollution. We generate so much of indoor pollution. Every born child, the next day, the first visit is not to their relative house or not to the temple, to the clinic now. That's the kind of indoor pollution we are generating now. Everything chemicals, everything electronics. We just have a lot of toys with all those recycled batteries, lead, nickel cadmium metal hydride batteries at home. We don't know the impact because we are not aware of that. So that's how every newborn kid, instead of going to the temple or relative places, we bring them to the clinic. That's the situations we are seeing, especially in the urban area. It's not just per se. I think it's a fact. It's a very, very much fact. Especially we have done some survey recently after the COVID. The amount of technological products are increased at least 5 to 10 times. Every kids now using the mobile phone because of the online class. The moment you give a mobile phone to the kids, you just imagine they're addicted today. They forget the father, mother, and getting together for the lunch or dinner and so on. Everyone is on the mobile phone because by default we given for the online classes. But on the other side of the issue, we are not care much. So that's how I think it's an important that how much we depends on these electronic products, and where necessary to stop it. Otherwise we are not giving this planet for our next generation as well as our youths. If we are not turning these youths to know the impact of these electronic waste, probably we are also destroying our human values. So be a sustainability and circular economy. What is our responsibility? I think we have to take a collective responsibility. Every individual is responsible. So I always say that it is our fundamental responsibility to recycle. If necessary, don't buy. If necessary, if really necessary to buy, try to extend the life by repairing the mobile phone. If you cannot, just give it to someone who can extend the life by reusing it again. Repair and reuse it. If everything cannot work, then finally look for right recycling company instead of throwing it to the dustbin or holding in our emotional center. We have also done some study in India that people don't like to throw anything. Everything they wanted to keep inside. They're keeping time bomb inside, like the batteries, the toys, the mobile phones with the attached battery. The modern mobile phones, you cannot detach the battery, unfortunately, because they are there to make money. But we don't know the impact of those. So these are the issues we need to look into that. That's how the individual responsibility. So as I said in the beginning, it is not waste. Say for example, if you have a CRT monitors is the old TV monitors, which has got like a cone glass, which is, we call it as a funnel glass, which can be recycled. And the front panel glass is nothing but a leaded glass. It's about 14 to 15% lead, which can be recycled again and used in the lead smelting. Rubber can be recycled. Of course, aluminum, everything, aluminum cans, plastic bottles. How much of plasticizing the ocean today. I think there's a big documentary about fisheries industry, like microplastics entering into our body and so on. So ferrous metals, iron, all kinds of iron, stainless steel, non-ferrous, you name it, many metals, like copper, zinc, nickel, chromium, and so on. The platinum, all these pictures which we have recovered in our previous companies in Singapore: platinum bars, palladium, ruthenium, and of course the copper, gold, and so on. See, these are all the products, and this can be, a lot of, I can see faculty, a lot of ladies, once they see gold, hey, is it a pure gold? It is indeed. All whatever the gold we take from the mother earth, it's same as the recycled gold. You can make 24 karat, which is 99.999, or you can make 23.5 karat, or you can make any karat gold purity using the recycled gold. So there's no difference. In fact, let me tell you, if you take a 1 ton of mining ore, you are recovering only 6 to 8 grams, or maximum best mine in the world is only 16-20 grams. The rest 99.9% is a nothing but is a silica or is a mud. It's a waste. To take 1 ton of the mineral, you are doing the deforestation, you are actually destroying the entire ecosystems and so on. Whereas in the recycling of e-waste, if you take 1000 kgs, everything is valuable. You're recovering the 50 to 250 grams of gold, you're recovering the silver, you're recovering 10 to 15% of copper, you're taking out the 20% of iron and steel, and again the plastics. So in the e-waste, nothing as a waste actually. So these are some of the facilities we have in India. So I don't go again detail about it. And these are the facilities we have set up in the global market, like example, US in Phoenix, Singapore in South Africa. Of course, US I have two facilities, and Malaysia, Iran, Middle East, and so on. So this is our global projects and some of the credentials. Yeah. So finally, I just would like to say we have just one planet, and I know we all have to work together and to protect our planet for our next generation. So with that note, I just would like to end here and be happy to take any questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful and very informative session. We just got to know a few things. We just remind with a few things that our kids are already obsessed with mobile phones and everything, and they are not eating their food without these gadgets. Thanks for reminding us that we need to work out on that part also, and going towards the recycling thing. So so many times we have come up with the things that we have a battery, used batteries in a hand. Suppose it has come out from the remote, from our television remote sensor, it will come out, and we didn't find the places to just throw it away. We don't we know the things that are going to destroy our environment, but we didn't find the right place to just where we will drop it for a recycle. So that is the part which we get to know, that it is a proper mechanism that we will go through with. And it was really knowledgeable, sir. Very extensively you explained these things. I would like to, there is one question from our viewer side. She is Dr. Something. She wants to know that the smelting in turns, if we go for a smelting process, it will create an air pollution. She's asked to throw some light on it.
Yeah.
Dr. Lakshmi Narsimha, she is the one who asked the question.
Yeah, that's where, in the past, if you look back, some of the traditional technology, they generally use the copper mining furnaces to process the e-waste. But now we have actually came out with the hydrometallurgy, so that you do not need to burn off the non-metallics. Instead, you can able to recover back all these plastics apart from the metals. So in a nutshell, I would say hydrometallurgy is far better than the pyrometallurgy. Pyrometallurgy, your intention is only to capture the metals, whereas in hydrometallurgy, you can capture the metals as well as non-metals.
Thank you, sir. I hope Ms. Jayalakshmi got the answer. Now I will request Mr. Ankur Jain, sir. Ankur Jain, sir.
And thank you, sir, for such a very informative session and provide detailed insights about e-waste management, which is very helpful for us. Sir, as a faculty, I would like to ask about what is the future scope of e-waste management for management profession or for young entrepreneur?
You see, to be honest with you, country like India, we need hundreds of recycling companies. Unfortunately, India may not able to invest millions of dollars on the European technology or so-called the Western technologies. I think there is a huge scope for the indigenous technologies, whereby we recommend the institutions like you all can able to engage more practical internship or more practical business aspects, rather than we still depend on the theoretical internship or the business models. We have so much of burning issues, equally the opportunities. Like I have traveled around 70 countries, let me tell you, just name it. I have traveled in the past 15 years, South America, North, China. We have seen how China has been transformed. We have seen by our own eyewitness that, we have started with simple tools. Imagine in late 90s, there was just a new era of electronic products, pager to the phone. Yeah, that's the time we started. the business. Yeah, we learned a lot over the period how the technology is very important. And then, lately legal framework is important. So technology, legal framework, awareness, and also this EPR, extended producer responsibility. Like every one of us are responsible. If we are aware of that, we are equally responsible to recycle. Like what madam say, we cannot just anyhow find no answer. Like I have a battery, but I don't know where to whom to give, where to throw. Yeah, so we need to develop that kind of systems. Recycling is not just recovering of the gold, silver. People have a misconception that e-waste is nothing but gold. Yes, it is urban mine, is above ground mine, but there is much more business opportunities out there. It starts from the collections to the reverse logistic to the dismantling to repair and reuse. And also, if nothing works, you are contributing too much to the environment. No other businesses have so much of benefits. If you're doing the recycling, you are making money as a business person. I would like to say that. Yeah, you are contributing so much to the society, and you are transforming the informal sectors. You are changing the young minds to aware of that, how much, imagine the radiation's impact,
Correct.
that everyone is come now, every born kids have this one now, which was not the case 20, 30 years back, right? Everyone. Why? Because of the radiation impacts. So these technocrats, so-called the giants who manufacture all these mobile phones, the computers, they never talk about side impacts. They never talk about the proprietary, what kind of toxics they use inside the products. They don't talk about it. I think it is the recyclers, which is you and me, we need to work out that. We already depend on these things. We have to work out and solve these problems. And it's not just solving the problem, it's also a business model opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to ask one more question about what point we remember before disposing of any electronic equipment, or what happened to the e-waste if not recycled through proper channel.
I think one of the slide I showed to you, what happens in India, 85% of the e-waste in the wrong hands are invisible sectors, are so-called informal sectors. I'm not here to blame anybody. By default, that sectors always collect the waste. Anything, whether it's a glass, if you remember, you ask your parents, they will tell you, iron, glass, plastic bottles. By default, India is recycling since ages. It's not new to the Indian, But the thing is that, when you recycle other waste as against to the electronic, there's so much of difference in terms of value and the toxics. Say, for example, if you give your batteries to the informal sectors, what they do, they go and burn. They cause so much of lead problems into the environment, into our water course. Like example, when I was in the Norway, they say they don't buy tomatoes from Bangalore because the lead content is very high. I can tell you so many examples I mean, I'm a keynote speaker in many international platforms, and they give the reports saying that, there are so much of problems in our country, So I'm a very proud Indian, a non-resident Indian award winner. And I always, whenever possible, we try to bring, it's not a technological constraints. You see, some of the European countries, they come and say, hey, you don't have technology, send all the electronic waste to Europe. Japan means to say we export the gold mine and we import the toxics, like a ship breaking, nuclear
Yeah.
waste, we import it. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think this has to change, So, I mean, I don't know. I hope I answered your question in a
Yeah,
more.
definitely that you clear all the concept, and thank you very much, sir, for such a valuable information.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, madam?
So we have one more question in our chat box. We are highlighting it.
Yeah.
I hope you can see the screen.
Is there any international resolution to manage e-waste, as you mentioned about developed country dumping and e-waste? Thanks. Yeah. So actually, if you see one of my slide, the product chemistry is the same, the impact is the same, the value is decided by the international associations like LBMA, LME, then why the different double standard in terms of regulations? There shouldn't be different country, different regulations. Poor country, they manage it very poorly because for them the priorities are different. The rich country, they manage it in a very sophisticated way because they see the resources more than the toxic. So I think in terms of regulations now almost 60 to 70% of the countries are regulations being covered now, fortunately. But the point in the developing countries or ASEAN countries, enforcement is not there. Regulation to be a successful in the recycling, enforcement is more important than just having a good management of e-waste regulation. So if at all you want to refer, you can refer to the European V directive, which is a more matured, very successful business, I mean the legal framework, or Japanese home appliances rule, or Taiwan EPA rule, and even I can say Singapore like a PRS scheme now. We are also quite well designed the legal framework in Singapore. There are very successful models. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Is Shweta ma'am is having some question with you, sir? She raised. Shweta Sharma ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this opportunity. First of all, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. I hope all the questions have been answered very clearly, but I belongs to marketing background, so would like to know a bit about how manufacturers took it as an opportunity in advertising their product.
Can you repeat, madam? I think your voice was a little bit
Sir,
echoing, distorting. Yeah.
So my question is how manufacturers can use the e-waste management technique as an opportunity in advertising their product.
Yeah. It's a very good question, actually. Yes. Most of the manufacturers today, they need to be part of the CSR program, corporate social responsibility. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir,
sir,
you
you
are.
are audible.
Yeah. So most of these so-called manufacturers of mobile phones, desktop computers, or refrigerators, they have to be part of CSR obligation, corporate social responsibility. And there is a tool called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. Every producer need to need to be part of this EPR, means to say whatever they put onto the market, it is their obligation to collect back. Say, for example, ABC company put so much of computers in the year 2015. Our India's PRO scheme came to act in 2018. They set the rule 60% of what you put 5 years back based on the shelf life of the individual products, whether it's a computer, refrigerator, different shelf life. Accordingly, they need to collect. So 60%, 70, as year goes, they need to collect more. So one fine day, they have to, whatever they put 5 years back, 100% they need to collect. If not, CPCB, like Central Pollution Control Board, has kind of penalty systems, like, they could revoke their licenses of manufacturing or importation and so on. So now this tool called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility, every manufacturers or the dealers of such electrical equipment should be part of that, and they have an obligation to collect and give it the right recycling company. But again, in India, there is a circular economy. Unfortunately, it's a paper circular economy. They sometime, I think maybe, I'm not sure, Miss Tanu Sharma's background, she may understand being in India. So what they do, their obligations will be fulfilled some or other way, but the physically the materials may not be going to the recycling company. Yeah. So This is what the circular economy happening. I think that has to change. Yeah.
So, thank you, sir. We got the insights. And I must say that in India, there are things which is going on, and maybe it is in a developing stage. So things are not as much cleared, and mechanism is not strong as in developed country. We agree to it, but let's see. Hope because these kind of webinars and these kind of educational programs actually want to make people aware. It's not a part of everyone have to do their part, then only they can go for something new or better. So I, you, and everyone present over here, and the people who are joining us, they all are do certain things on their part, and hopefully we will go with some good results, and we can do something for our motherhood. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us such an insight about this, and just making us aware, and realizing us that we can also do some part. We can do our part as much as we can, right? Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable informations and everything. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request, sorry, sir.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Now I request Miss Tanu Sharma, madam, to share her valuable insights with us. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Kakul ma'am. Just wanted to check, am I audible properly or not?
Yeah,
Start with.
it is
Yeah.
working properly.
Okay, thank you so much. So, before I start on this topic, I would just like to greet all our respected people who are available on this webinar. Starting with, I want to bid a very warm, heartfelt thanks to our chairperson, sir, Mr. A.K. Singh, sir, our director, sir, A.K. Goyal, sir, and a big thanks to Jyoti ma'am for inviting me for this webinar. Um, Basically, I am not into this, you can say I'm not a very a big practitioner, or you can say on the level of Mr. Venkatesh sir. Welcome, sir, for this webinar. um, but I would like to share some of the basic insights on e-waste management, which I have seen, being the youth of India. I have seen many things which are going around me, and basically in our surroundings. So, not to go into very technical things, but I really want to share my insights, that what I have seen, and what, being in India, being a developing country, what we people and the people around us are doing on this particular topic, and what initiatives they have come up with. And yes, definitely, India is a developing country, but there, and I agree with Kakul ma'am, that there are many things which are happening around us, particularly on this e-waste management topics. Okay, so I will just share my screen. Um, is it visible?
Not now, Tanu.
Okay, ma'am. Just checking.
Yes, now we can.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. So, to start with, e-waste, we all know it's an electronic waste. Yeah, and we have already discussed, starting this web in the starting of this webinar, that what is e-waste, is what are the hazardous effects of this e-waste can be around us. uh, One thing I would like to say, and all the things which I'm going to cover in my with my presentation, or with my insights, is that e-waste management or e-waste is a very lesser known fact within our surroundings, or specifically in India. And there have been many initiatives which have been going on globally. So I would just like to say that it is a very lesser known fact in India till now. Many of us are not aware what exactly is, we just treat it as a waste, as sir said, we just treat it as a waste. We just dispose it. We don't know what we can do with this, how we can recycle, how we can refurbish it, how we can reuse it. So it's a very very lesser known fact in terms of awareness around us. E-waste, in what I understand from this, is it's a very hazardous waste, which we don't even realize. We think about other waste, we throw that it is creating air pollution, it is creating water pollution, it is harming our human health. But this e-waste is also doing the same for us, and it is a very toxic part of waste industry, you can say. So it's a very dangerous due to some toxic chemicals which are being emitted. When we throw this out, we just dump this our electronic materials. We don't use it. We think it is not. We can't use it. We can't reuse it again. We just throw them out. But what it is doing to our environment right now, there are many most of the places are like experiencing climate change. E-waste is also a part of that. It's one of the causes which is changing our or climate, which is basically you can say a cause, one of the major cause of our climate change, which is indirectly or directly impacting the human health. E-waste basically has the metals which are when we dump them, that is emitted, and it has a great risk for everybody around us. Even when we there are some of the plants which are opened globally, when the workers also work there, it is a great risk for them as well. We don't even realize how it is impacting our air, water, our soil, the human health, and everything. Okay, so I started with what is e-waste. I will be all taking over with the types of e-waste. I also said in the starting that I will take only the basic things, which considering the e-waste management. There are some of the rules and regulations which are already planned and made in India, which on which people are working. Many people are aware of it. Some are not. Impact on the environment, there are some of the case studies, you can say some of the use cases which people are the initiatives in the simple language that people are taking around us, how we can manage this waste, how it is impacting an environment, and lastly I will just welcome all the questions. It is I will skip this slide. Actually, it is about uh, I'm sorry, it is about me, so I can tell afterwards about it, just keeping a track of time. And so I was talking about the e-waste management rules in India. So the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they have already. So this e-waste management is not new in India. So people have been working on it since, you can say, a long time. Some of the rules were being rolled out in 2011. They were amended in 2016. And some of the key points to include in these rules are the collection of the e-waste by the producers, manufacturers, the local bodies, and government have also built out some rules in this in these management rules, that the sites where we as consumers are dumping this waste, or the producers or the manufacturers are dumping this waste, they are trying to shut down those sites, and so that and our environment is basically saved. Okay. There is also a central pollution board report, control board report, which says there around about 10 lakh tons of waste have e-waste have been generated by India within the year 2019-20. And they also their report says that by 2031, if we don't control this, it may rise to 165 million tons within India, I'm talking about. And we would need a large number, a large, you can say, hectares of land to dispose this waste. I'm sorry, I'm just got disconnected. Okay. So coming to the impact on the environment, you can see how what amount of e-waste is being disposed around the world. People are currently recycling or refurbishing e-waste. And also the major concern we need to think about here is we need don't need to dump this waste like this only. We just need to take consider our security woes as well. It definitely leads to great data theft. So it is a I've already talked about the impact on the environment. So it's what is it doing to our air, water, soil, and to the human health. This is again also a very important topic to consider, that right now there is a huge rise in cybercrime and everything. So we don't know what people are into, and these cyber criminals are really using these kind of this every equipment to take out data or share or put this into cybercrime. So we really need to consider this as well before we are dumping the e-waste around us. Coming to the case studies, I was just talking about that people are actually working around us. It's not that as a single person, we who all are a part of this webinar, or we are just talking about it, that we are aware. But yes, even the youth of today is also aware about it. Firstly, I would just like to talk about etro recycling. This is an India's largest e-waste management asset management company, you can say. It's not exactly e-waste. They deal into lithium ion batteries recycling, and they say that they have already planned to open and new 14 new plants by the end of 2022 within India, in some of these states like Telangana, UP, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. So this is a very as I said, it's India's largest e-asset management company. So they are doing really a good job. They have big plants within India, and planning ahead, they want to open new number in say 14 new plants in 2022, within 2022. So maybe this is going to reduce the number of waste around us. Secondly, I would this is a very interesting case study which I read about. Riva Tulpale is a student of class 10. She's just aged 15 years, and she has already started a campaign by the name of We Care DXP. Unfortunately, she's not working in India. She's not an Indian citizen. She has been working with this campaign for the Gulf nation. So let me tell you about the interesting fact how she got an idea about this campaign. She was just cleaning her home. She was cleaning her drawers, and she found many of the electronic devices which were unused, which were you can say she was not using those. She asked her friends to help her clean it. So they helped her clean it, and no dear, we
Tamil,
shouldn't.
it's okay. I guess you lost the connection. Now you can continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
so I was just talking about how she got this idea. So her mother and Riva herself couldn't they were not aware about, again it comes to awareness. They were not aware about what how do we recycle this e-waste, what should we do with it. Discussing this particular topic with her friends, she started a campaign. I will again name the campaign named by We Care DXP. And till date, it was a 10 days campaign. Till date she has been successful in recycling over 25 tons of e-waste within her surroundings actually. So I think she is already aged 15, and this is a commendable act by her. Thirdly, I would just like to talk about one of the Togo-based innovation lab. This is based out of Africa, and there were few friends. Basically, they just thought that Africa is actually their surroundings actually have been covered with lot of e-waste. So they just founded a lab named as Wo Lab, and they started reusing that, refurbishing that, and they tried to recycle all the e-waste which they could. This is the thought of it, and they have developed around 20 to 30 3D printers within their surroundings, and people are using it. So their agenda while starting this lab was, when there is a problem, there is a solution, and also to how we can inspire the youth to go ahead. They started this in 2013, And till date they have found out, apart from the 3D printers, they have found out finished they have basically founded 20 other finished products like 3D printers. So these this was basically you can say the gist of people, how people are so much aware about this, and they are also making a business out of it. They are creating a campaigns, they are uh, forming committees as well, so people are aware about it. Probably not in some of the developing countries, but in the developed countries as well, it is going long way. And as you can see, students are, the youth also are basically working on that. uh, okay, so how we can basically manage this waste is what initiatives have been taken around us within India. There is a web-based application with the name of an integrated waste management system. So this application not only takes care of all the other waste, but also they have started taking care of the e-waste management as well. Here on this website, anybody can apply for it. They have basically
Hello, Tanu.
whatever dump of waste they have, they can just apply and fill the application form. What they have done is the distribution also is done by them on the basis of the level of hazardous effects of that waste. So it's a category they have divided. So it's a very great initiative within of our government basically. uh, Next would be about the sustainable development. Yes, sustainable, we are moving towards sustainability. We need to develop our environment with sustainability. And also we need to think what actually we can do within our homes. We should start within our homes. Our charity begins at home, but we should start managing our e-waste as well from our homes. That's what we call awareness. So within sustainable development, there is the United Nations General Assembly has basically, they have set up some agendas that till 2030 they have 17 goals and 169 targets. And they this waste disposal and e-waste management and other kind of waste as well is already a part of that goal. So definitely they will be working on this particular topic also, the management of e-waste and other kind of wastes. There have been many international agreements as well. There have been organizations like Montreal Protocol. There is one basically a division of UN framework on Convention of Climate Change. So they have been also working on this, and there are many campaigns and committees we just spoke about. There are many campaigns which are being organized, and there are committees which are being formed to collect the e-waste, to how to dispose them, not to dispose like this, but also creating awareness within everybody that how we can actually manage it and protect our environment. So this was actually all from my side. I know it was not at all technical and with numbers and statistics, but this was all about the awareness which we could just create within our families, within our surroundings, within our friends and everybody. And also we can take some initiatives, even if it is a small initiative. But this is how we can protect our environment. It would be a very great challenge for India as being a developing country, but yes, we can do it and protect our health of each and everybody.
Thank you, Tanu. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for giving us insight the what is going in our country. Being in a developing country, what our country is doing, that is the most that is a part which everybody wants to know. After Venkatesha Murthy sir tell us that the world is doing a lot, so this is a great part that we come to know that our country is doing a lot, and it's just I like the part that you asked that as an individual we also have to start doing something. We have to do the campaigns or some certain things which we can do at our part. So this is a nice thing that we are going through it. Obviously, it is a very big problem. E-waste is in this time the e-waste problem is more just like last day we are discussing with one of my senior, and he just asked it is a bigger problem than polythene problem itself. So exactly we are going towards it, and definitely be we will come up with this. For now, I would once again I want to thank you, Tanu, for your insights.
Thank,
And
thank you,
now
ma'am.
I would like to request our head of the department, Ms. Jyoti Bhadauria, madam, to come up and share her views with us.
Uh, Thank you, Kakul ma'am, for inviting me. I hope am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
So all the panelists have shared a bright light on various aspects of the topic, and believe me, it was truly a pleasure listening to you both, Mr. Murthy sir and Ms. Tanu Sharma ma'am. Mr. Murthy, sir, have explained in excellent detail about the recycling of e-waste. Sir has said that it's not only e-waste; it's a gold mine, and he has shared the recycling importance of recycling e-waste. And as Tanu ma'am had shared very good case studies related to atro recycling and the girl Riva, case related to Riva. And here I must confess that coming at this juncture, there is not much left for me to add on. So I'll share only few things. As we all know, e-waste management is a great challenge for the government of developing countries like such as India. So this is becoming a huge public health issue and is exponentially increasing by the day. So here I would like to share some do's and don'ts regarding the e-waste management. Firstly, I'll share the do's. So, all the electrical and electronic products are required to be handed over only to an authorized recycler for recycling. And the second is the e-waste product should be handed over only to an authorized recycler for disposal also. Keep the e-waste in isolated area after it becomes non-functional or unrepairable so as to prevent its accidental breakage. Now let me tell you some don'ts regarding the e-waste. The product should not be opened or dismantled by the user himself or herself, but only by an authorized service personnel. The product is not meant for resale to any unauthorized agencies, or you can say the scrap dealer. The product is not meant for mixing into household waste stream also. Here I would like to show you all a small video. Please play the video.
Here are the things that have become an integral part of your life, without which you can't imagine surviving even a day. Your television, something which makes you smile and cry. Your mobile, your most cherished companion day and night. And your charger, without which your mobile is as good as dead. But as soon as they get outdated, they are no more your companions. So what do you do with them? You unsympathetically remove them from your life. Till now, what kept you entertained is today plaguing the world with global warming. Till now, what used to be the pride of your household has today become a source of pollution and illness for someone else. So when our electronic equipment become useless to us, they become e-waste for the environment. A kind of waste that is very different from ordinary waste, as it contains toxic pollutants like mercury, lead, cadmium, chromium and plastics, which are very harmful for human as well as environment. Today there are lakhs of people working in unorganized sector of e-waste disposal. People working in this unorganized sector are often exposed to toxic chemicals during the processing of this waste. Interestingly, this e-waste also consists of valuable substances like gold, silver and copper. Today, on one hand, we are growing as biggest consumer country of electronics, and at the same time, we are generating vast amount of e-waste.
कभी कभार इन दिनों हमारे यहाँ पहले अच्छी पेन रखना वो स्टेटस था, अच्छी घड़ी रखना स्टेटस था, अब अच्छा फोन रखना स्टेटस हो गया है। ई वेस्ट इसके विषय में अवेयरनेस नहीं है। देखिए, हमारे देश में एनवायरनमेंट की समस्याएं इसलिए आई कि जिसको जी ठीक लगा कारखाना लगा दिया। दे वर नॉट कॉन्शियस अबाउट इट। हमने ई वेस्ट के संबंध में एक मिशन उठाना चाहिए, ऑनलाइन चलाना चाहिए, अवेयरनेस कैंपेन करना चाहिए, ई वेस्ट के सॉल्यूशन खोजने चाहिए। सरकार के साथ मिलकर के कोई प्रोजेक्ट बनाया जा सकता है ई वेस्ट के सॉल्यूशन, वरना हम पता नहीं कहां से कहां पहुंचे।
Reason why our Honorable Prime Minister took an important step towards creating a clean India. So come, let's together take an oath that we shall not dispose e-waste irresponsibly. We will work towards its scientific disposal so that same e-waste can be reduced, reused and recycled. And to help us realize this dream, we have 150 e-waste authorized recycler functional in India. The details of the same are available at your nearest Common Service Centers, CSC. So now all you have to do is just collect your e-waste and bring it to your nearest e-waste collection center. They will deliver them to their right destination, where wealth will be generated from this waste without causing harm to humans or nature. Given the proper awareness, it will also create employment for thousands of people and will create a clean and healthy India. Clean Digital India, a big step towards digital cleanliness.
I think the video was self-concluding one. So before concluding this session, I would like to thank each and everyone who was directly or indirectly associated with this webinar in this series. First of all, I would like to give my hearty vote of thanks to our honorable chairperson, sir, Squadron Leader AK Singh, sir, who has spared his valuable time for the webinar. Thank you so much, sir. And I'm very much thankful to Mr. Murthy, sir, and Ms. Tanu Sharma, madam, our guest speaker of the day. Thank you, Murthy, sir, for your very thought-provoking and interesting address. I'm grateful to you. And thank you, Tanu Sharma, ma'am. You have made an excellent presentation and you have made this webinar very meaningful. I'm grateful to you also. Thank you so much. Thanks for accepting our invitation. And I would also like to express my deep gratitude towards our respected director, sir, Dr. A.K. Goyal, sir. Thank you, sir, for your presence in this webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to give my special thanks to our respected Dean Academics, Mr. Vikas Chandra Sharma, sir. Thank you so much, Vikas, sir, for providing us the IT support. And thanks for always being there. Uh, and I would also like to thank all the viewers who are watching us live today. So that's all from my side. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Kakul ma'am.
Much, ma'am. The video was literally concluding in itself, and it was letting us know that our government is also aware on that part, and there's a campaign to which we also become a part of it. So it was really nice. And not moving ahead more from here, I would also like to conclude this webinar, and I want to thank you everyone, especially our honorable chairperson, sir, our director, sir, our dean academics, sir, our guest speaker, Mr. Murthy, sir, Ms. Tanu Sharma, madam, and everyone who is directly and indirectly associated with this webinar. I am really grateful to all of you and want to say a thank you to everyone. Namaskar.
Okay.